I was expecting y'all to wait for me.
Your clacker isn't as big as his clacker.
Give me that.
He's got a big clacker.
I'm going to use the big one now.
The better.
This is the real one.
Oh, Donnie. Such a prima donna.
I just want one try. Ready?
I don't want to.
That was lazy.
That's equipment I'm not familiar with, so it's not going to mess
It's
with
wood. I don't know much about wood.
Yeah. Welcome to the After Hours with the Donnie Grubb Band. This is episode 12.
Did you get a chalk for this thing yet?
Did not get chalk for that thing yet. Sorry, 13. You're right. It is 13. Yeah.
We're on episode.
Somebody's been watching.
Episode 13.
I've been watching.
Hey, you're on episode 13.
Well, last week was Friday the 13th.
I don't think so.
That's bad.
It's not like being on the 13th floor or something.
Well, I can say it's like not like Apollo 13.
Hey, they made it back.
Barely.
Easy.
Easy.
Nothing went wrong.
Nothing went wrong. It was all good. Tina's over here. Nobody can see her because we literally don't have a camera on.
She's using my mic. Come here.
I can use Bryan's.
She's my party buddy.
That was very sexy.
She's my Canadian party buddy.
Yeah.
He's my drinking buddy.
Oh,
Very Stormy Daniels.
Yeah.
That was good.
Stormy Daniels. Oh man.
You're all a bunch of idiots.
Mr. President.
Big boy. You want to go?
Uh-oh.
This is going south fast. All the way down to Arizona.
All right. If you guys haven't noticed, we have a few buddies with us. It's not just me and Donnie today.
Oh, no.
We also have George Brunson.
Hi.
We also have Bryan Kuban.
Who?
Who?
Just because I'm a bass player doesn't mean you say who.
What is a bass?
What is a bass? What is that? Tell us about
It's
that.
almost a guitar, but minus 2 strings.
Missing 2 strings.
I thought he was the eye candy of the band.
Yes, he is.
He does have that shirt.
And guess who
I bought that.
George Brunson bought me that shirt.
Do you still have it?
I still have it.
Oh, why didn't you wear it tonight?
I was thinking about it, but I was at work and I came straight here.
Well, shit.
There you go, cussing right off the bat.
Right off the bat. Makes Donnie super happy every time I do it.
200 more percent.
This is where everybody clicks off. Kids cussing.
Everybody.
They all
That's
do.
right.
Kids cussing.
Just so everybody knows, Donnie doesn't cuss one day in his life.
Ever.
Never.
I've never heard him cuss.
Never, ever.
Shut up.
For never, ever.
He's like Billy Graham.
I am. Without the scandal.
Ooh,
He never had a scandal.
we're working on
Billy
one.
have a scandal?
I don't know. I'm just assuming.
Oh, no. Billy Graham
assuming.
didn't scandal, did he?
I don't know. I'm just assuming. Oh, no, that was the other guy. That was Jim Baker.
And Jim Baker, yeah. And Tammy.
Little confusion there.
My mom used to watch that show and send money. Oh, those poor people. Mom, stop.
Please, I need to go to college one day.
Tammy needs a new curling iron.
Tammy Faye needs to curl her eyebrows.
They're that long. They like curled over twice.
Oh, dang. They're like calligraphy.
She had like major stock in Maybelline.
Maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline.
It was real.
Totally.
That was weird.
Well, yeah, you know, we always got to start these things off interesting.
Okay.
So
I have Jim Baker's book on my shelf right now.
Donnie's still stuck on
Really?
this.
I do.
You do?
I got it as a present from Grandma.
Speaking of grandmas, George Brunson had the most interesting grandmother
Dude.
you will ever know.
Oh my
And
gosh.
let me tell you, not to get this side railed on this this fun night we're having, but George is going to give us at least one great grandma story because she was amazing.
My grandmother?
Yes, her grandmother.
He's like, my grandmother?
Tell him the turkey story, the turkey hunting.
Okay, all right.
That's
The
the
turkey
best
hunting.
one.
My grandmother, for her 75th birthday, her two sisters, show up in Globe to pick her up and go to surprise her to take her turkey hunting. Mm-hmm. And so they decided to take my grandma's Toyota Land Cruiser bread wagon looking thing, and off they go up towards the Young Road up in the middle of nowhere, and they see a turkey, and they start shooting at the turkey. And they're like shooting and shooting and shooting, and pretty soon all these game wardens came out, and they go.
But where were they shooting from?
The car.
The car.
Right, but it was a dirt road, okay? It was the road going out of Young towards the rim. And so the game wardens jump out and they go, drop the guns. And then she's like, I got to shoot from the car license because I'm an old lady. And he goes, well, you got to, let's see the shoot from the car license. And she goes, well, I don't have it with me. And he goes, and so she was angry. And I got me a shoot. You're all going to jail because my son is the sheriff. And my dad was the sheriff down there. And so they take the fishing game guys load my grandma and her two sisters, and they take them to the Payson jail. And then they're in the Payson jail, and my grandma's now really mad. And she goes, you're all going to be in big trouble when my son gets here. And so they called my dad, and they go, hey, Andy, we got your mom and I guess your two aunts here in jail. And she said that she has a shoot from the car license, which we found out that she does have a senior citizen's license, which allows you to shoot.
That's real? You can really shoot from the car?
Yeah, it's a shoot, but it's for senior citizens that, that are 75.
Uh-huh.
And so we're going to let them out, but we need you to come down here and take them from us. And so when he gets there, the game warden is there, and he says, oh, could you come over here real quick? And so he goes over to see the game warden. He goes, the game warden goes, we've had a turkey decoy for 15 years. 15. And no one's ever hit it. And he pulls it out and he goes, you see this? And it's like in pieces, I guess. And he says, no one's ever hit this before. But those three old ladies blew the hell out of this thing and we can't ever use it again. He goes, so we're just going to release them to you and then we will give the guns back to them. And so that was that's one real true story of my grandma.
That's fantastic. Thank you for that,
Grandma. Shoot from the car license.
I got one, you sons of bitches.
Oh my gosh, that's rich right there. That's a great story.
Yeah. Oh, you have no idea.
that is some Mogollon Rim stuff right there.
Yeah, I like it. You've told us a few fun stories. There was a story about your uncle taking a ride on a train too, apparently.
Well, we went to see my grandma. My Uncle Buck passed away. Her brother, he died, and he apparently had a heart attack on a railroad tracks. And the train.
What? I don't even know this one. It's new.
My Uncle Buck. He was
Uncle Buck.
Who has an Uncle Buck? I do. Okay. I also have an Uncle Red. Uncle Sam. Uncle
I remember
Abe.
Sam.
I have an Uncle Abe. I remember Abe.
Yeah. Abe from Colorado.
Yeah, exactly. I remember Uncle Abe, the little one. Hi man, how you doing?
I just saw Abe. Yeah, he was awesome.
Hi man. So Uncle Buck was the oldest brother. He was a cowboy. He rode broke horses and all that kind of stuff. And so he's my great uncle, and he has a heart attack on the railroad tracks. And so a train hits his truck and goes down the road. And so we go to see my grandma because Uncle Buck has passed away. And so and Grandma's got the bottle of whiskey out already. Like, Grandma, how you doing? And she's all drunk. She's like, hello, Uncle Buck. He gone. I'm like, yep, he's gone. He was a cowboy to the end. And we're like, how was he a cowboy? What? She goes, he rode that train for 5 miles. And she was all mad. She's digging her a drink. The train hit his truck and dragged it 5 miles down the track. And so that's a cowboy thing. He rode that train for 5 miles.
Oh my God. That is awesome. I'm sorry for Uncle Buck, but oh my goodness, that is a story. If you're gonna go out, that is the way you want to go out.
And they said that he was probably dead before the train hit him. But that's the way to go out. If you're gonna be dead already, why not?
And he rode it for 5 miles.
Yeah.
You know what I call that? Extravagant.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I want to be dead and then have a bear with a messed up face eat me, and then they go, look at him, man. He took some of that bear's. He fought back. He messed up that bear's face.
Oh my God.
That's what I want.
Oh my goodness.
I have a great cousin or something like that actually he's one of the only known people on Earth.
Donnie, you all right?
Dude, that's like the third time I've heard this story, and I'm still laughing like the tears.
You know what? I've known George Brunson for 25 years, and I've never heard that story. And now,
You never heard this story?
no. And I tell you what, we've been band brothers for many years.
Uncle
And
Buck.
I've heard some amazing.
Rest in peace, Uncle Buck.
That was epic.
Dwayne will know Uncle Buck because they used to fight. Uncle Buck and Uncle Red and all those guys.
So if everybody doesn't know, these two know each other from a band called Mogion.
That's
The
right.
Mongolians.
Mogollon.
Mogollon.
George
Mogollon.
hired me to be in Mogion.
Yes.
I did. I hired you and John the same day.
Kinsey, yep.
The same day.
Same day. Package deal. Same gig? Were you guys playing together already? You and John?
I'd played a show with him. I played a gig with him with the Haywire Band.
The Stardust Lounge.
Stardust Lounge.
That's
I
right.
remember the Stardust.
Yes, it was great.
I don't.
Then, I played with John Kinsey with Harry.
That's right.
On the road with Harry.
Just seeing kind of bullshit.
Well, hi, Tina.
What's up, boys?
You just missed it.
Did you guys? I heard you guys. I was making a sandwich.
It was
My
funny.
sandwich.
Sandwich?
Sandwich?
I don't get sandwiches no more.
I was laughing. I know. I don't know what it was.
It was a good story.
Dirty.
It was filthy.
Oh God, that was good.
But you met him at the
How the hell
Stardust
did he get a
Lounge, huh?
sandwich?
Well, that's cool.
That's where I met
True
Bryan.
story.
Oh, nice.
And, Bryan
And John was playing with you too at Stardust?
John Rickard.
No, actually, I was in the Stardust playing with a band called the Haywire Band.
And yeah.
Over the rainbow.
Wow.
Oh, Tina.
So,
I was in the Haywire Band with John Rickard, and actually it was called, when they hired me, it was called the Boot Hiller Band.
Yes.
I remember that.
Yeah, they hired me to take the place of another really fantastic bass player named Roger Strosky.
I got a great story about that guy.
I can't wait.
But
He's still alive, so I can't tell it.
Oh,
But
fair
anyway,
enough.
he, I guess, left the band, or I took his place or something. I don't know how that went down, but all I know is I got the gig, and I took it, and it was cool. I'll actually tell you the story because it's kind of funny. I was playing with the Charlie Menino band. Charlie is a really great musician here in town, and I was playing in his band, and John used to come out and watch me play. Mm-hmm. Like, he would come into a place called Eli's, if you guys ever heard of that, in Scottsdale, and he would sit and watch me play, and he would come up to me and say, "Hey man, you need to join my country band," and I was like,
Country.
Country.
I'm playing disco.
well, well, first of all, you have to understand, I grew up listening to Waylon and Johnny Cash and Buck Owens and Conway Twitty. My dad was a huge country music fan, and I grew up on all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Turned 14, heard Rush, and that was it.
Changed it all.
Rush and Led Zeppelin turned me into a rock and roll guy, and I turned into a rock and roll guy. Then I started hearing stuff, people like Bootsy Collins and Larry Graham and all these really kick-ass funk bass players, Louis Johnson, and I got into like disco funk R&B stuff. And so basically at that point in my life, I was with Charlie Menino playing disco, R&B, old classic Motown music.
That's cool.
It was really cool, actually. And then so I'm hanging out. Not John Kinsey. John Kinsey was not in the picture yet.
No, not yet.
John Rickard was out there watching me play, and he would come and ask me, "Hey, you should join my band." And finally, like, he came up to me one night and he was like, "We get paid like $128.85 a night."
The censor in there.
Dude, I seriously, it was something crazy like that. Like 100, and I was thinking to myself, I'm making like $75 a night here. I am playing cool music with kick-ass bass shit, but maybe I should give country a try. and then I said, cool, I'll do it. Let's do it, because it was 5 nights a week, and that's like $600. You know, back in 1998, or 97, that's a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And so I joined their band, and I played with them for a little while, and then John fired me. He
fired you?
John Rickard fired me because I don't know the real reason, and I'm sure when he watches this video he'll tell me what the real reason is. But I think it was because I had too much fun on stage. I would like shake people's hands, high five people, and have fun. And sometimes I would drop a note or two just to get the crowd going, you know. 5, 6, whatever. And but the more important thing is I was more into entertaining, and I do love to play bass, of course. But when I'm playing live in a club scene, I want to just have fun and get people going, and have a good time.
Yeah.
Spray fire.
So I got fired,
fire.
joined this badass fiddle player guy in Nashville, or not Nashville, but Las Vegas, Barry Van Wee, and he was playing like Joe Satriani, Eric Johnson, and the blues guy, Stevie Ray Vaughan, all on the fiddle.
Oh,
Wow.
All the parts exactly like
Really?
and even he would do like some Steve Vai with like what they call that, the sweeping arpeggios on the fiddle. It was just like crazy.
Wow.
Sick.
Wow.
And I was playing upright bass, and we were doing all those like Satriani tunes. I was playing upright bass, and he was playing fiddle, and it was like a bluegrass version of all that stuff.
Yeah. Wow.
Super cool. Then George calls me.
Yeah.
And ruin his life.
There's
See,
that cop that
that's
was
just
chasing
like
you earlier.
Yeah.
He'll never get us.
And George calls me, and he says, "Hey, Bryan Kuban, you want to join Mogion?" And I'm like, I was thinking about it, and of course I played with George for a while. And you have to understand, I saw Mogion play for the very first time in 1985 at my cousin's wedding. They played my cousin's wedding.
How weird.
We played everyone's wedding back in 95.
At the museum club.
There you go.
They rented out the museum club for the reception, and I can still remember Lonnie, my ex-wife, and we were there watching them play. And I said that day in 1985, if I was ever in a country band, that would be the band I would be in.
No, really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Because they were more fun. It was not just like playing classic country songs.
Better watch where you're going with this comment here.
No, I'm just saying though, it was a good time. It was like there was a lot of energy on stage.
Yeah.
And
Well, with Mogion, what had happened is our bass player and our drummer quit at the same time, right?
Yeah.
And so Dwayne's like, "We're screwed." And I said, "No, this will be our finest hour, like an Apollo 13 kind of thing. This is when we're gonna shine."
Yeah.
And so I go, "I know these guys," and I knew Bryan, and I remember meeting. I met John Kinsey on a tour with Harry.
Yeah.
And we were in like Wisconsin and all these places. And I told John, man, you were a really good drummer. How come I've never heard of you? And he goes, well, I spent some time in the Florence Hilton. And I go, I actually said, I go, Florence has a Hilton? And he goes, yeah, it has a big fence around it. And so now see, John now is a whole different guy because of Laura, his wife. Yeah, I said it, and because he was pretty far out there back in the day. Hey, brother, remember those days? Yeah. And but he and I said I didn't know Florence had it's a prison actually. And so I go, what happened to you? What did you do? Were you like a bad guy? And he goes, well, I got like 8 DUIs in 3 weeks.
Dang, that'll do it.
But he said
that's an exaggeration, of course.
Exactly, it is.
Yeah, it was more like 9. No, I'm just
He's more like, it was like 7. But anyways, and so I end up hiring him, and so we end up forming this thing, and it worked out really great because of Bryan and John. They kind of made the whole backbone of the band really just wow.
John's a badass.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
he is.
He is. Yeah. Mm-hmm. My favorite incarnation of that band. And I've been watching Mogion since I was like 12.
I remember you getting up and playing my guitar.
Yeah, like the first time I met you, I was 15, 16.
Yeah, he comes up and grabs my guitar and goes, and he goes, oh, I don't know. I don't know anything what I'm doing. Here you go. Hands it back to me. And I'm like, you little monster.
I was scared to death. You know what's cool is I've got that on video.
I know. I saw it. Your mom took it.
Yeah.
It's so cool
With the big
because
old
I saw it for the
recorder.
very first time when I was with Donny in Canada.
Yeah, I had to show
Minnesota. We were in a
Wow.
cabin, and he showed it to me, and it was like we're in Minnesota.
That was a big moment for me, man. That was cool.
It was cool because he was like his face. He was all blushy.
Yeah, I was.
The cool thing
Still blushy.
is now I play a Telecaster because of him.
Oh.
So it goes right back at you. Smarty pants.
I remember that
full
going
circle.
down.
Because I wanted to play.
You were a Strat guy for so long.
Yes, exactly. And I was the Strats that's what I always played. And I still have a couple of them. They're hanging on my wall, but I never play them anymore. But I got my Telecaster, and I came down here, and I got one the same color as his. And I came down and started playing with him, and I just sat there and watched all the stuff he was doing. And I said, "Oh, so that's what you're doing, huh?"
You
And I'll tell you
cheeky
what.
bastard.
And to this day, I play a Telecaster because of Donny Grubb.
That's awesome.
What happened to your Strat?
It's hanging on the wall.
You still got that blue one? That old bluey?
I got my old blues on the wall, and my dad's Strat,
Yeah.
the '69.
I think that's the one you let me play when I was a kid, the blue one.
Yeah, the blue one.
I remember that.
Yeah, old blues hanging on the wall.
That's awesome. You
Well,
have to bring that down
the
sometime.
cool stories that I've heard of George, in the past was like, George is like that dude that'll just like, see somebody. It's like, oh man, hey mister, I want to learn how to play guitar, and he goes in his trunk and he's like, here man, I got a guitar right here
I
for
gave
you.
away so many guitars.
Yeah.
Yes. I go, that guitar you're playing is a piece of crap. Here.
Right, and they're not like shit guitars that you're giving, that you
No.
gave people either.
Play American Fenders.
So did George give you a guitar ever?
No.
What the hell?
He was too good already. He was fine. He was doing all
No,
right.
in fact, when I was playing back in those days, when I was playing around, I had like this Yamaha guitar that I bought for $25. Only had one pickup in it that worked.
Those are great guitars, though.
And the volume,
Especially that one pickup you had.
the volume didn't work. So
Japanese.
I just took the volume and tone out and just wired the pickup directly to the output jack to get it to work.
You know what? That's back when guitar players really were guitar players. Because I remember,
Men were men.
There was a guy named Jeff Hammond that played in the band in Mogollon for one of the original guys with us. And I went to see him at his house, and he had a Telecaster, and one of those Telecaster custom had the big humbucker on the front. And had the regular
Single,
tele,
yeah.
and he was doing something, and he had the guitar in his lap, and he had goggles on, and he had a router, and he was going. And I go, and he walks up, and I go, "What are you doing, Jeff?" And he goes, and he pulls up the thing, and he goes, "I'm fixing it." And he put a whole other pickup in there. I'm making another hole, and I'm like, "Man, that's what I'm talking about. That's
I'm
cool."
fixing it.
And this guy, he can wire shit up, and he'll just sit there and wire stuff up. No, I'm like, I don't know, what did you do there? I go, I can't tell you.
Yeah, Donnie doesn't like to give away his secrets.
Or I just don't know any of them. That wire looks like it should go there.
Right, they're both blue.
He's always like a
work.
mad scientist.
The thing I love about Donny Grubb is he will actually wire the Tecmo controller to his guitar.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and somehow he'll make it all work, like with the Tecmo, the 2-player mode one, and he hooks it into his pickups, and somehow it sounds like a whole new guitar.
How did you do that? And why are you always playing as the Cowboys? Oh, because they kick everyone's ass back in the day.
That's right, back in the day.
That's a good idea.
I remember going to Donnie's house to record on his one of his records, and it's like, I'm going to do this fiddle part, and it sounded like shit. And I was playing it, and he goes, "Don't worry, I'll fix it." And so we get all done, and I was like, "Man, this sounds good. It doesn't sound like anything." He goes, "Well, I fixed it." And I'm like,
I fixed it.
he was like, I feel like Cher with the pitch mode thing on.
Dude, remember when we opened for Cher?
Yes.
Did you really?
Yes.
How the hell did that
We
happen?
could not look her in the eye. That was part of the contract.
How did Mogollon open up for Cher?
We don't know.
I'll tell you right now. Wells Fargo Bank corporate party, and
North Phoenix, yeah.
North Phoenix at the JW Marriott, and we were supposed to open for Cher. We get there, and the guy that's what would you call that dude? The
Handler.
handler for Cher. It's like this. He's like, "You may not be 30 feet from Cher
At any time.
at any time."
You
We're
may not.
like, really? Okay. And then they come back to us in about 15 minutes. You're going to close the show. Cher's going to play, and then you will close the show.
We're like, right on. We can drink.
That's right. And
Yeah.
we partied out. And then Cher came on, and she had all her Teletrons everywhere.
You believe in love.
And she had an outfit change. Every single song she changed outfits.
Yes.
And she lip synced to the tracks.
Yes.
Wow.
She never sang that.
And she never did Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves. That was my song. And I
Right,
like,
that was a
where's
great
my-
song.
I
Where's it
requested it.
Yeah.
I can just imagine George in the front row, just like, she gonna do it. She's gonna do
She did half-breed. That's all I know. She never did it.
I have that
She never
record.
did. And then we came on afterwards, and I'm not trying to be like a braggart or anything, but we played afterwards, and it was really cool because we had Cher's set. It was
with big ramps.
Ramps and
down.
Dwayne Moore, if you know Dwayne Moore, he's
Yes.
running around the ramps and playing the fiddle and jumping around
He was in good shape then.
Oh yeah, he's in good shape now. But he was like
Young.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was young,
Spry.
and actually, George was running around too.
Wow, damn.
I was just fat back then, not just like ridiculous. I was just fat.
Slow down, Dwayne.
So we were doing all of our like stage gymnastics on this beautiful stage, and afterwards, all the people from the Wells Fargo people are like, "You guys kick Cher's ass."
Oh no.
They were all bankers. They don't know anything.
Well, it's because they were drunk, George. They were drunk by that time.
Exactly.
And we were playing every song they ever wanted to hear. We were playing "Sweet Home Alabama,"
Oh my gosh. Yes.
and then we played "Sweet Home Alabama."
And again.
Did you do any Cher songs?
Hey.
George did, only because he wanted to make fun of her.
He did half-breed,
And
didn't
George is the only person in the world that can get away with that. And
I
he
went,
did that.
oh.
And he was like this. He was like this. "Do you believe in love?"
Here's what I think the key to their success was, is I think Bryan probably wears the suspenders thong better than Cher did.
Oh, let me tell you.
I don't know. I love that video when I was a kid, man.
For a 7-year-old woman, she can seriously wear that shit.
I recorded that on VHS tape off of MTV one time, and you know how when you pause the VHS, it gets like all messed up.
I don't actually. Tell me about it, especially this experience in your childhood.
After a while, that video was unwatchable.
Well, I know what happens. He was right. Like you would pause it, and it would have that graininess. All of a sudden, you would see like porn videos going on.
Well, that was like watching scrambled porn. Remember back at, when you were
Oh, that was a nipple.
or watching. You wanted to start recording Monty Python, or not Monty Python, but what was it? What was it? No. What was it?
Yeah, Monty Python.
No. That's
what's his name?
Right there.
shit. Benny Hill.
Benny Hill. That was the first boobies I ever saw in my whole life. First boobs, and because they just came right, bam, boom, boobs, and they were gone. And so now, if you go back and you could record all that, and you could freeze frame it, you would see a lot of boobs.
Freeze frame.
Freeze frame.
So whenever your parents put in the tape to watch it, it would get to the boob part and it would get all wavy.
Like,
Because it was worn out.
that was like the 90s equivalent to the pages sticking.
Ew.
That was the 90s.
Why is my Sports Illustrated stuck?
The Victoria's Secret catalog.
Swimsuit edition.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Was that
man.
Kathy Ireland?
Maybe.
Oh, remember she was in that movie Tank? Oh man.
I don't remember that.
I don't remember Tank.
She was.
Only Donny Grubb saw that movie.
I don't know Tank.
No, it was
James Gardner.
Rockford Files guy.
James Gardner.
Yeah, Garner. Yeah,
I did see it. I'm lying.
So,
That's hot.
Yeah, he was in, and they picked, and she ends up, and she never had a bra on the whole time. And,
Bless her
I
heart.
just got this stupid little T-shirt I have, and they all got other clothes and clean clothes, and she never got
Except
it.
for her.
Yeah,
She's like,
Shirley Partridge was in it. Was it Shirley Partridge?
Was that her name in there?
Sure. The one that did it
From the
Come on,
Partridge Family.
everybody get on that was singing. What was her? What was the mom's
Monkey
name?
happy.
Well, that actress was in it.
That chick. I don't know.
I know her name. Shirley
Partridge.
No, Shirley MacLaine. No, Shirley.
No, I don't know.
Shirley something.
Remember the song?
Hey, Shirley. Her name is something.
Come on.
But Bryan Kuban, he's gonna be here all week.
I
Everybody.
lost on Jeopardy.
Baby, that's some Weird Al right there.
What is her name? I'm gonna go crazy.
Who's like the mom from
Partridge Family.
Mom and the Partridge Family.
So he's going to be producer now and look it up.
right? Let's see if I can find this. Mom on Jeopardy. Let's
There's a
see.
song that
Not Jeopardy. Partridge Family.
Mom, those that would bring up a lot of people. I have a feeling. Let's see what we get here.
What's gonna pop up here?
Hopefully, it's a lot of just terrible porn here.
I would say Mom in Jeopardy would be anybody I impregnated.
Shirley Partridge.
Yeah.
So that's just the chick's name, but she played the role, but it just says she. It doesn't actually say who it is.
Shirley Jones.
Shirley Mae Jones. Yes,
Yep.
Shirley
Yes.
Mae Jones.
Yeah, and she was in like.
Holy hell, she's 85 years old now.
Yeah.
Well, she
and
was hot back then.
She was
1950 to present.
attractive, middle-aged woman. Yeah.
I think she had a thing going. I think she had something going with Mr. Kincaid.
Yes, I think he did.
Like in the show, or in
I
real
just
life?
think it's amazing that he couldn't remember Shirley Jones, but Mr. Kincaid just went wham, perfect.
Well, apparently, Mr. Kincaid is a good-looking fella.
George was like hot on that shit.
Hey.
Yeah, let's pull up Mr. Kincaid. Dave Madden, eh? Huh?
Was it Dave Madden?
Apparently.
Wow, Dave Madden. Wasn't he the coach of a... he had a video game.
That's John Madden.
Okay, never mind.
Well, he had a brother that was a
Brother,
football
Dave.
coach named
Dave.
John Madden, and then he had a designer named Steve Madden.
He had a son.
Just anybody Madden is related to this fella. Look at that. That guy looks like he knows how to make a turkey with 6 legs.
Or how to make Shirley Jones have a good time.
That's right.
Look at that sly smile.
Look at it. He's a good-looking fella.
The whole show, he was after her,
Yes.
and he never penned her.
Well, it was a different time back then, Bryan Kuban.
Oh, yeah.
Courting.
Because he thinks he loves her. So what is he so
Bacon.
afraid of?
That's funny. Wasn't that a Partridge Family? Or at least, no, it was John Cassidy that sang that song, wasn't
Was
it?
it Partridge Family song? It was Partridge
David
Family.
Cassidy.
David
yes.
John
Cassidy.
Cassidy.
I think I love you.
I always call Kit my little brother, and that's why right there.
Thanks, bro. Oh. What are we gonna go see a movie later? It's like Mr. Bill.
But he's like my little brother, like in a what do they call that? Where you have the kid brother that's not really your brother, but you
What do they call that?
volunteer for it.
What is that? Oh, Big Brother.
Big Brothers, Big Sisters of
I'm
America.
like your big brother's big sister, your brother.
Your big sister.
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty much.
Almost.
Well, at least we're laughing.
Still waiting
during
in the last
this.
part of the
This is
surgery.
This conversation has gone way weird.
Yeah,
All night.
and it's all your fault.
Not mine. I didn't.
You know the question I want to ask is, how did Kit meet Donnie?
You.
I know.
It was you.
It was Brian.
But let's talk about that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about
We have
that?
mentioned your
Right.
name a
And
few
how
times
does
in
that
this
make
podcast.
Well, you don't have to talk about me, but I just think
We actually haven't started therapy yet. We were saving it for that.
And it's
because I
sex
can remember there
therapy.
was a time when Donnie was like, "This guy's never gonna work."
No, that wasn't me. No, that was Cliff. Cliff was the one.
Oh, Cliff.
But Cliff says it was Donnie, and then
Well.
Tom says it was both of them, buddy.
Even Batman said that Robin's not going to work out, but it did.
I can still remember.
dug
I
it.
was at Westgate,
Yeah.
and I'm playing a show with this fella right here, and we're playing outdoor with a Barry
yeah.
Barry
Yeah.
Caraway show.
Yeah, Barry Caraway.
Yep. And we're playing the show, and then I'm out there, and I get a phone call. We just got on break. Tom Wagner, I need a drummer. Donnie's kicking this drummer's ass. He's kicking him out of the band.
I hate drummers.
You played with Tom.
I did.
Oh my
And,
god!
and I was like, I got the guy for you.
I played with Tom.
Trust me, this guy's gonna be great. And he's like, and Tom's like, are you sure? Because Donnie's really picky. Donnie's gonna kick him out. Donnie's gonna Donnie's gonna throw this guy.
Be.
He says Donnie's gonna throw this guy like a lawn dart. And I'm like, I don't know.
Nah.
I have a feeling I threw Donnie like a lawn dart, actually.
No. Maybe.
So
Make some noises like that.
But
That's
yes,
funny. They said lawn dart.
no, that's what
They said that about me with Ethan Newman.
I'm gonna say something right now. I just made that shit up because I heard you say that before about Ethan Newman.
Yeah, everybody said George would make a lawn dart out of Ethan.
That's a weird relationship because you guys are like total opposites, right?
well, we're total opposites
Yes,
Yeah.
you guys are.
because
We are.
I take 2 steps forward, you take 2 steps back. We come together because opposites attract. I'll keep this
Oh,
whole
that's
song
a
going.
song.
That's a song. That's a
See what I did there
Should be a
was
song.
that's Paula Abdul.
was quoted a Paula Abdul song.
I love
Straight up
that
now,
Kit
baby.
has
Now
that.
tell me, is it good to you?
Straight up now, tell me. It's another Paula Abdul song.
That's it.
Now I'll just keep these going, guys.
Don't go chasing waterfalls.
That's TLC. Not even the same.
Third Eye Blind. That's me. Oh man.
But yes, Brian is he's at fault for all of this.
He is.
He is at fault for
I wasn't
it.
looking for kudos on that, but I just wanted to bring that up because I
The
thought it
many
was,
layers of Brian.
He brought us together.
Hey,
Brian
I just want to
Kudos.
say goodnight, you guys.
Oh, well, good night there,
Yeah, I
Tina.
hope you all have a great night,
We will.
and I potted all night long.
We will. We will iPod.
hey, who's my drinking buddy?
This is my buddy.
Oh.
It's my buddy. You know what? You guys were pussies during the Canada.
Wait, we only played 13 shows in
Hey,
4 days.
I made freaking pizzas.
You
Every
did?
day- Yes, I did.
Where did you find a pizza?
Oh, okay. Well, so you didn't hear about this. Okay, so we've been doing this festival for 3 years.
3
now.
years, yes.
So this year we took the hitching post up there with us. So like, there's a hitching post pizza up at this festival now.
Oh my gosh!
And it was good pizza too. We
It was very
busted ass.
good.
I could
was
come up and
Hitching
make
Post pizza.
the one. Remember the green pizza I made?
Yeah. Oh.
I could come up and do that. That's how I could.
It was a
That's how you can weasel your way in there.
Well, this year, Kenny promises me it's going to be different. I'm going to be on that little golf cart
There you go.
with my bikini on and my
Oh,
thong.
Oh, honey, don't.
Jess is going home. She don't want to see that. I don't want to see it either. But me too. I'm already sick. I don't want to see it. I don't want to throw up. But no, next year it's gonna be.
I can see Mo going. Damn, that shit look good.
We'll just get our wives and our girlfriends to come up
Yes.
and wear our bikinis, and that'll be fun, right?
Yeah, our Borat
You guys
bikinis,
wear
dude.
your Speedos.
Yeah,
Don't want to see me in a Speedo.
I do.
Yes, I do too.
You wouldn't see the Speedo.
Kit, do you wear a Speedo?
No. I mean, at one point in my life, I did when I was on swim team, and I just admitted that on the internet.
Yep.
Oh, the swim team.
They used to call him Chicken Nugget.
Just one,
If I
not
wore
nugget.
a Speedo, you
And
could.
then a broken
it would just,
neck.
the shit would just be all. You'd never be
It
able
would
to
get
see
sucked all in.
You wouldn't actually see the Speedo.
Where'd your bathing suit
no
go?
offense, George.
It's
No
in there.
offense, George, but I can't see you in a Speedo.
Thank God.
I seen him in a Speedo.
Because he wouldn't be able to see the Speedo. It would just be all every shit hanging over.
Yeah.
It would just be bad.
Yeah.
If you looked on the backside, you'd see some like.
Night, honey.
Bye, Jess.
It would just be like Edo.
It
Like Uber Edo. Same
would be nuts and ass. That's about it.
Nuts and ass.
Yeah.
Is that that's a new cereal? Would you like some nuts and ass?
That's a new rap
Thank you.
song right there. That's a new hit.
Oh man, that's a rap song.
We just lost 7 viewers right there.
Donnie's so worried about
We're
this.
not live, are we?
No, not right now.
Thank God.
Not
No,
yet.
Kit's gonna edit every one of this. Don't you worry about
Every
it.
one of this.
Or, well, you know what I mean.
He doesn't.
Okay, so with that said,
What?
is it G, PG, PG-13,
R.
PG-17?
That's R. The 17, the NC-17's past R actually.
Oh, okay, cool.
No, we're the.
What does NC stand
I would
for?
say we're PG-13.
PG-13.
Something content. No, what now?
I would say we're PG-13.
Oh man, we say too many fucks, and then we talked about.
You did.
Oh, you do.
You do.
We don't say fuck.
I never said that word one time tonight.
I have.
Lots.
That's
Continue
Kit's
to say
favorite
it.
word.
Fuck,
think-
fuckity, fuck, fuck, fuck.
Except
think you
when
have a
Uncle
problem.
Fucker was
Donnie,
here.
pull my finger.
Except when Uncle Fucker was here. That's when
It's
I
all
said
going
it.
downhill
The
now.
greatest story.
Nice,
that was
Bryan.
the greatest story.
That was the weakest part.
That's all Brian's fault. That right there, that was what tipped it over.
It was quite the burp.
That was a baby burp.
That was adorable.
I had more in there, but it just didn't roll. It didn't roar.
Well, apparently, if you drink baking soda, it'll.
Make you explode.
And then you feel better.
At both ends.
No, but I was earlier. I was talking about the dynamic between you guys, and I love what you guys have created together. And
Me too.
you
It's
know,
all out of
Kid
anger
Hoff-
and spite.
frustration. Spite. I'll show you.
So I'm sitting in church one day.
Again?
Jeez.
Yeah, no, Jesus, Bryan, right? So I'm at church, and our drummer, I can't say his name, didn't show up. Well, actually, he wasn't going to show up, and they got a sub. And this guy shows up. And we're playing a song in 6/8, and I'm like, you know me, I'm like all about the groove. And I'm like, all of a sudden he starts playing the song with me, this in 6/8, this like kind of, it's a little bit challenging. It's not like easy, but you know.
6'8".
It's 6/8. It's got a groove. It's got a feel to it. This guy knocks it out of the ballpark, and I immediately walked over to the music director, and I pulled him to the side, and I said, "I need you to hire this guy and fire the other feller, because I can't be here anymore with the other guy. Please hire this guy." And they hired him.
I was selling cell phones at that time.
That's right.
Yes, I'm glad you started doing
That's
that.
like a long time for you guys.
It has been. It's been over 10 years now.
About 12 years for Kit and I.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah.
It's got to be hard to get fired from church.
And it's not that hard.
Well, the guy that actually Kit replaced is actually a very good drummer.
It was God's choice.
It was God's choice.
And that's what I said. I mean, no. The guy was he was a great. He was a very not a great drummer. He was a good drummer, and Kit just happened to be a better drummer.
So it just means the next time somebody's better than me.
So actually, this weekend I'm playing with a guy with real long locks and is really beautiful.
That's what I've heard. I heard he's gorgeous. I might be out of a job at the old church gig there.
Oh, that's right. You're not playing church this week.
Nope, I'm not. I is not.
Yeah.
Well, I remember my first encounter with Kit was.
Oh, gosh, how's this always turn into me?
Was coming into this thing that we hear.
And I told you about him.
Oh yeah, and it's like
warned him about me.
Warned him.
And it was like started playing and.
I'll lock that. That's locked.
All right, got it. See you. Bye.
Bye, Tito.
And Donnie ruined me for life. Becoming, this is country, George. This is how country works. This is
I never said that.
Yes, you did. Not in so many words. You didn't actually say that.
No, what I said was not everything is a Leonard Skinner song.
Yes, you did say that. That's true. Not everything is a Leonard Skinner song. And so I had to learn to strip down everything and learn how to play a different style of music. And I thought I was playing country for so long when I wasn't. And so then I get to meet this
I wasn't going to say anything because you're my boss.
He's back there, and every time I turn around to look at him, he's going, "I love you. You're doing great, man.
Yeah.
Whatever." And he's like, and I'm like, God. Every time I look back at Kid, oh damn it.
You're like, I'm pretty sure this dude actually loves me.
And so, I'm learning as fast as I can, and for an old guy. And I'm learning stuff, and I'm like, but then it became fun because I'm learning stuff, and it was really a fun thing to be in this band. I think that a lot of guys should come out here and be in Donnie's band and learn how to play country.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Well, I like a lot of things, not just country.
He does.
Yeah, but
I'm not good at everything.
Like how to really love a woman.
Like,
and also how to drive a car really far.
really far.
Yeah, and going camping.
Going camping. I can camp.
Does that. He does all those things.
That's one thing I can do. Is camp.
And playing Sweet Child of Mine.
I can do that one. Yeah.
All day long.
I played that in front of my school when I was 13 at a pep assembly.
How'd that go?
Dug it.
So it was I played guitar, and my music teacher played drums, and my math teacher played bass.
There you go.
I was a rock star that day.
Yeah, my favorite Sweet Child of Mine.
My math teacher was a bass player.
Serious?
Yeah, Mr. Kirkman.
Well, it's all about numbers.
Yep.
My favorite Sweet Child of Mine story was Donny Grubb in Minnesota, on stage after hours. Hey, do you know Sweet Child of Mine? I'm like, no.
Somebody asked for it.
He
does.
He's like, just wing it. I'm like, dude, you don't wing that tune.
Do some of that bass player shit.
I kind of know it a little bit, but
and I'm really drunk.
What happened
exactly.
I'm really, really drunk.
There's no winging in that tune. I mean, that's a song that's got some. That dude's a badass bass player. I mean, there's like a lot of cool shit going on,
Oh, I
can do that part, but it's the other part.
There's nothing else.
No.
Have you heard Duff McKagan's solo album that just came out?
I'm afraid.
Oh my God, it's terrible. It's horrible. It is so freaking embarrassing.
Well, he's pretty good with a pick and a P bass, but I don't know about his story on being a singer.
Yeah, check it out.
I don't know his story.
It'll make you feel good about yourself.
Have you ever heard me play bass?
I have.
It's horrible. It is so horrible. I start out.
Like, ooh, I can go here.
It's more and more and more, and pretty soon it's like I can't stop. But
Piece of candy.
Ethan Newman.
Yeah, you know.
Ooh, piece of candy.
Ooh, piece of candy.
What are bass players that need 6 strings? Come on, stop it.
Really?
No, Take 2 away.
I played with this guy that had 1 string on a wash tub and rocked the shit out
That
of it.
doesn't surprise me in the least fucking bit right there.
His Uncle Abe.
My Uncle Abe.
You play a wash tub?
His Uncle Abe's wife plays the wash
She
tub.
played the wash tub.
1 string. she bent the pole.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a great story. You guys are gonna love this one.
I'm already loving it. Please tell me more.
Okay, so Uncle Abe
Uncle Abe.
is a real deal. He's a musician. You know, I'm not gonna say he's a great musician because I don't know, but he can jam, and his wife plays the wash tub, or it's basically a bucket with a stick on it and a string. They call it a wash tub bass.
Yes.
And so
A wash tub.
So we're going over to stay. We're playing the Ignacio Four Corners Iron Horse rally, and we're going over to stay at Uncle Abe's house. Mm-hmm. And Uncle Abe wants to have a jam session. So we get in there, and he goes, "Just play that one." And I'm looking at a stick in a bucket with a string.
With a wash tub.
And
Don't
he
forget
goes,
the wash tub.
and I'm looking at it, and I'm going,
What the hell am I going to do with that thing?
is that a science project? and so apparently his wife knows how to shred that thing.
She did.
She did, and she played
shred
it.
the shit out of that thing.
And she made me look like an idiot.
And she did your laundry at the same time.
The cool thing is my laundry came out all like scrubbed.
Right.
No, but it's all about how you bend the stick to get the pitch.
Yes, but
Yeah.
remember when after Uncle Abe and Aunt Jackie's show was they actually put on their little show for us.
Yes.
And then he's here. I'm here to address you, not undress you. Remember that? You know, I'm like, oh my gosh, he had all these little zingers.
He has his zingers. Yes, his
Yeah.
sticks. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, the dad
Address you,
jokes,
not
dude.
undress you.
But no, she was on that thing. Watch
Watch the camera there.
Oh, sorry.
My Uncle Abe has the biggest house in Mancos, Colorado. It's an old doctor's home from the 1800s. It has a coal-burning fireplace, and it's just ridiculous. This giant mansion. We all stayed there, and they put on a show for us. Him and my aunt.
It's fantastic.
It's great.
It's super cool,
I
man.
love stories of your family.
And we sat there and got drunk.
And she shredded that
Yeah,
stick
she
with a
did.
piece of wire on it.
And he was like there, right there, going.
Handle that.
I was that guy too. I was like, Victor who?
Victor, woot and who?
Woody, Woody and the Blowfish.
So did you ever practice your wash tub?
Donnie says "warsh."
It doesn't. That's
I know.
Cliff. Cliff
That's
says
me
that.
making fun of Cliff right now because Cliff is the only dude from South Phoenix that says "warsh."
Worse.
I don't know how that works.
I would say after watching her play, I realized that I'll never be as good as her.
But it's just all about the tension.
It's 1 string.
It's just all
Remember he did. I hear the sound of distant drums. Boom, 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 boom. And she was just bending that thing back and forth, and man,
Dude,
Handling it.
it's truly actually very good.
he did, dang me, ought to take a robe and hang. You ready to do that song?
I remember that one.
My eyes were wide open like saucers.
They were. You're like, what's for dessert?
And trust me, they had that going on too. All the food and
Yeah,
everything.
man, there was a ton of food.
That's awesome, man. I love stories of your family.
Small town, like barely anybody lived there.
But there was a mansion, and your uncle owned it.
And a woman that played the washed-up bass.
Yes,
Right.
exactly. It's crazy.
It's like a dream come true.
There's like down at Bisbee, there's this guy that's like a luthier. Was that what they call him? Luthier, the
Guitar making guy?
Yeah, but
Fixes things.
But he makes his guitars out of like fuel tanks for cars and stuff like that. Apparently, it's pretty cool. My dad
Really?
checked it out. Yeah.
And it's good?
I don't know if it's good. I don't think my dad has ever played an actual guitar before.
Oh.
But if you're ever down in Bisbee, you guitar folks, you should be like, hey, I'm going to check that
You
place
get a
out.
gas tank guitar.
Yeah, I want to see what this guy. Apparently, like, they look cool as hell. Like,
sure
this
they do.
guy doesn't F around.
You ever play cigar box guitars?
I never tried one.
Got one up there if you want to try
Oh, yeah, I
it.
got one over there.
Oh, really?
Up on the back wall there.
Does it work?
No.
Okay, so that kind of pretty much lays
That's
that down,
version
right?
1.
You make that?
No, somebody I can't remember who it was. One of our customers brought it.
Not the guy that made the guitar stand.
No, not that guy. You scared that guy away. He's gone for good.
He's out with the Coyotes
No
now.
more guitar stands, which I still have, by the way.
By the way, it's still working. I see that. You've modified it some.
He modified it after the first time his guitar fell off of it.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
So this guy comes in out of the desert. I mean, strictly straight from the desert. And he goes, I'm going to build you a guitar stand. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever.
If you build it, they will come.
So like a month later, he shows up with that. It's a badass piece of wood right there. I think it looks cool. And then he looks at George. He's like, I'm going to build you a guitar stand. And George says, I don't want your freaking guitar stands.
He didn't say friggin'.
I don't want none of your guitar stands.
Actually, what happened was he goes, I want to build you a fiddle stand. Is what he wanted to build me. Yeah. And I said, no, I just kind of hang it right here. And he goes, I want to build you a fiddle stand. And I go, no, I just hang it right here. And he goes, I want to build you a fiddle stand.
But how do you hang it? How do you hang it? Just tell me how you hang it first.
No, I don't want your effing fiddle stand. So please go out in the desert and die.
Buddy.
Yeah, I did. And then I got a buddy. Yes,
buddy. At least I got my stand before he did that.
All right. But
he has a million inflections for buddy.
I know he does. But here's the thing about Georgia that he's missing out on this story. Like he's saying, I just hang it right here. Like he's got like a little hanger for it.
Yeah.
It's literally a metal hanger that he's got.
I know. Okay. And,
I think it's still up there, actually.
It probably is.
Yeah, sticking out.
And that fiddle is like a World War II
400
survivor.
years old, isn't it? Like a 400-year-old guitar.
The only place I played it because it was inside.
It's like 300 years old.
It was made in 1621.
And it's hanging on a bent coat hanger.
And it's hanging on a piece of wire.
Right.
This fellow wants to make you a custom, beautiful wooden hanger.
But I'll step on it.
And you're like, and you know what you said to him? Buddy.
And who plays the organ here? Why is that?
I ran out of room at home.
I mean, that's just crowding poor Tim.
Yeah, well.
I could stand right there.
I think Tim should.
That's where I should be standing, but no, there's an organ.
Do you know how to play the organ?
It's worse than a steel guitar.
I can tell you who knows how to play it. Shirley Jones.
I think I love you.
And that's a badass little Hammond right there.
Dude,
that thing sounds
sick.
that. You know what's cool about that one is it has the built-in Leslie. So
cool.
It's got a miniature Leslie built into the bottom that you can.
I wouldn't know which switches to. I just go.
Yeah, I don't know either. Just.
Yeah. It looks cool,
Everything's Phantom of the Opera.
It is.
This stage is so crowded up with all kinds of crap. Look at all.
This
there's a
isn't even the
shovel.
worst it's ever been.
There's chickens.
And there's
there's a
sleigh
tire.
bells.
There's a tire now.
tire now.
Whose tire is that?
That's from
Raleigh
That's a
brought
gift
that
from
in.
Raleigh from Minnesota.
Hey, sleigh bells.
He goes, every stage needs a tire.
You know what? Goddamn it, you're right.
And there's a fiddle case, but no fiddle.
Oh, there is a fiddle in there.
Oh, there is a fiddle in there?
Isn't it like a midget fiddle?
No, it's full size, but
They're not midgets. They're
No, they fucking are.
They're little people.
No, we had a whole midget troop coming in.
we learned that because were you here when we had midget wrestling?
Yes.
Okay, so
Okay.
I tried to be politically correct and called him a little person, and he got full on pissed at me. He
Yeah.
goes, "I'm a fucking midget."
Yes, he did say that.
I'm like, "Oh, damn."
Okay, sorry, sir.
Sorry.
You are correct. You are a midget.
And then two of these little guys are out front. they were out front
And a Mormon.
and they drink more than I've ever seen anybody drink
I
in
don't
my
know
life.
where they put it.
I don't know either, but they were outside and they got into a fight, right? Two of them, and they were just going at each other.
The best part was
Mo comes out.
No, it was Scott coming in. The best part was Scott coming in and being like,
Oh, yeah,
you
okay.
need to stop playing right now because there is a no shit midget fight going out on up front.
I'm up here playing. And Scott comes and grabs me. So I run outside, and as I get out there, Mo comes out there, and no shit. He has them by the foreheads, holding them apart from each other.
They're like extra pit, and he's laughing. That was the. and they're like so mad.
They're getting mad that like Mo's laughing, holding them back.
They're doing this thing, dude. Like,
Oh my God, that's
dude,
hilarious.
that whole night, like my cheeks hurt. I was laughing so hard in my stomach, like I couldn't do it anymore. It
I
was
felt
just
really bad.
So much. Did you though?
And then one of them like knocked the other one out, And and he goes, "We're going home," and then dragged him down
like
by his
had
leg.
him in like a full Nelson.
hilarious.
Dude, had him in a full Nelson, just like carrying him across the parking lot over here. And at one point, no, two of the midgets. Like one of them was completely passed out. The other one, I don't know what his idea was, but like he had him in a full Nelson, like moving him around the parking lot. And I just go out there at one point, I just see him just slapping the fuck out of the other guy. And the other guy's just passed out. Like there's no amount of slapping was gonna wake that dude up. But he was like getting up in there, dude. And then like you saw some of the patrons of the bar like were walking out and they saw this going down. So they went over and like started talking to him, and like the dude that was awake with the, carrying the dude in the full Nelson there, like I didn't get to hear what he said. I just saw the reaction of the patron where they were just like, oh, and they kind of like just quickly walked away from the situation. Yeah, dude, that whole night was magical.
Yeah, that sounds like a freak show.
It was. They were on their way here, like in a van or something, because they travel across the country to do this thing that they do. Well, they broke down
midget wrestling. Right?
Yeah, okay. And they broke down like in Tucson or something. So Mo had to go pick them up
for some reason. I don't know why Mo had to.
But he didn't have to have he could just take a Volkswagen.
Well, he could have, but what he did, he took that CRV that he had at the time, and like I'm not even kidding. When he pulled up, they were stuffed in there, and there was like one laying on the dashboard, and like one like up against the back window.
He thought it was like one of those little things, but it wasn't. It wasn't.
It was a dude. Oh. And so the door opens up, and they all just kind of fall on out.
Right. And you think we're like making fun of these guys? We're not, because this is what happened. Like this happened, and like we said, like Donnie was trying to say little person.
I was trying my best.
He was trying, like
not even trying, just doing it. Doing the polite thing.
These guys didn't like. Here's the. Okay, like these guys knew what they were doing. Like they literally, this is what they do for a living is to go out and do midget wrestling. And one of the guys, this is one of the nights that we had bull riding in the back. And one of the midgets got on one of the bulls, and he got his ass kicked off like right out the chute.
And Scott picked him up off the ground to move him out of the arena, and he's like, "Put me down." And his feet are like,
"Good Scott, put him down." You put him down?
Yeah, eventually.
I'm sure.
He's like, "I gotta get you out of here."
I'm surprised they weren't doing the mutton busting,
dude. No, full on like on the bulls.
Yeah.
And that the other part too was, it was funny, is like as they had a few more beverages in them, like they started like hitting on all the waitresses, but like they wouldn't hit on them. They wouldn't hit on them just like saying stuff. They'd just be like because they're shorter in stature,
yes,
right?
Yes.
So like they'd be like talking really quietly. So like the waitresses couldn't hear them, so they'd bend down and just keep talking quietly. She's like, I'm sorry, I can't hear you. So like they'd be hanging down so that their cleavage was just like right in their face, and like I could just see one of their faces, and they're just like, like.
I played this thing with Harry up at the Roadrunner, and those little fellers were there. Okay. And they had the midget wrestling, and then they have a point in the show where they get this girl to come up and volunteer out of the audience that's not a midget. Mm-hmm. And those guys did the nastiest, horrible things to that poor girl, and they were jumping on her and spanking her, and they would, and when she tried to throw them off, and they would just be real quick, and they'd move, and then the other guy would be right there, and then she was like, oh shit, and bam, and then they're spanking her again, and this girl, and she volunteered like an idiot. And wow, I'm just saying, they were so quick.
They are.
They're quick little fellers.
Yeah.
One of them kicked himself in the head.
I'm seriously, they're quick.
Dude, I can remember we were playing at the biker week. It was bike week. We were at Westgate, and we're backstage, and we're getting ready to go on. And we're all sitting back there, and we're getting kind of hyped up. George and I, hanging out, and all of a sudden, the sound guy and the tech guy that runs all the screens and shit started fighting with each other.
Yes.
And George and George Brunson goes, and it's okay at first. Goes on. And then George's like, "Hey, you guys, like, cool it." And the next thing you know it, they're going at it. And George's like, "I told you guys to shut up." And George grabs him by the necks and fucking escorts them out of the tent. Oh yeah, like holding their necks like this. Boom! Puts their hands together and throws them out the fucking tent. Excuse me, the tent.
The tent.
He throws them out the tent, and he goes, "You can all come back here when you can behave yourselves."
When you can behave yourselves and
talking
play
about this-
nice with the other children. Yes.
I'm talking about like the AV guys that are running all this
Right,
stuff.
running
the
everything.
production guys from the
Those
stage.
guys, yeah, those guys don't fight.
He
And
kicked
they
them
were-
out.
They were gonna kill each other.
And he kicks them out, and I'm looking at him going, "Who's running the AV stuff now?" And he goes, "When they can behave themselves, they can come back in here." And
Wagon wheel, 1, 2, ready.
This is before Wagon Wheel, dude.
Sorry.
So anyway,
Was it though?
Full wagon wheel.
this was pre-Wagon Wheel. So anyway, they're standing outside, looking in the tent like puppy dogs, going,
Can we come back in yet, George?
Because all the good stuff was in there.
I think you were a little agitated before that even happened, and then they just set you off, and you were.
I was always agitated because I was fat. Fat people are always agitated.
Always in a bad mood.
I know.
That jolly stuff is full of shit.
Bullshit, exactly.
Right.
Santa's
Those guys had to get a permission slip from George to come back there to work their shit.
Work their job
Brunson, can I
after
come
they're milking, like, or not milking, but like whatever the hell it is, like rubbing their.
And I'm just
sore
standing there
head.
going,
Which is why Dwayne wants to kill me half the time. He's like, oh, God, can't you just be agreeable just once?
Be agreeable. Oh man.
but you know what? It was funny because it was well deserved.
Yes.
Take 7.
Take 10.
There we go. That was good. Right back into it.
Okay.
Well, awesome. So, yeah, you guys are continuing to work in the music field. That's awesome.
The field of music.
Yep. Brian's still with the Mogion.
If you build it, they will come.
That's right.
George isn't with the Mogion anymore. George is all over the damn place.
I'm everywhere you
Everywhere.
want to be. I'm like
You're like Visa.
I'm like Visa. I play with Harry, and I play with all these other guys, and I'm like a musical whore
George is a very busy fella.
Busy feller.
with his campfire guitar.
Doing a lot of acoustic stuff, right, too?
Yes, more than the only time I play the Telecaster anymore is with Harry Luge.
Oh, really? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, and it's like really weird because it's like, ooh, it's so easy to play. Hey.
Telecaster.
Yeah, the electric guitars are a lot easier than playing the campfire guitars.
A little easier.
I like how you call the acoustic of campfire guitar.
Well, that's what when I grew up, and when I was a kid, all my relatives would have the family reunion, and they would all sit around. All my great uncles and everybody, they'd play the acoustic guitars around the fire, and they would have a big fight.
Drink lots of whiskey.
right.
And then have a big fight.
And avoid trains.
And then pound each other.
Pound each other now.
Oh, yeah, man. You're playing it wrong. No, you don't know what you're doing.
Oh, that kind of pounding.
And they would fight. And actually,
I didn't realize how hillbilly we were here. That's all.
And then one day, they decided to have they had the family meeting. They said okay that we had the new thing, no drinking at the family meeting, and so they decided to have that and no drinking before that, and so that way that people wouldn't pound each other.
Drinking was after.
Drinking was after the family meeting.
He watches a lot of YouTube.
And the YouTubes.
He does.
I'm not the only one at this table that does. Donny Grubb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You youngsters are all YouTubers.
You youngsters.
I recently, George, started watching YouTube,
Yes,
and I find it quite interesting.
It is interesting.
I have not watched YouTube. I'm like so boring because I watch Jeopardy and History Channel.
The History
Alex
Channel
Trebek.
doesn't even show history anymore, though. That's a bummer.
That's true. But they do have the one cool about Counts Customs when they make the cool hot rods.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of cool.
History Channel doesn't show history, right? It's like
I just got done saying that.
He just said that, Brian.
I realized he said that. What I was saying was, is it all like fictional shows now?
Now it's just all, what do they call that, reality TV? See, you see more like history documentaries on YouTube. That's why I like YouTube.
Yeah, but it's like the Wikipedia of the History Channel.
Sometimes you get like the actual like old school History Channel like videos that somebody illegally uploaded on there,
Yeah.
But see, my problem is I'm not literate as far as like figuring stuff like that out.
Yeah.
I'm not the computer guy. I can't figure out if if I have an amplifier and it comes with a book, right? And then I go,
good golly.
And I go, boom, and I go start turning. Oh, that's what that.
That's what
okay,
that
that's what. And it says these weird words like ambient sound, which is like the room, which like we don't know what the word they use is different than it's. Yeah, and then I just turn this up and down. And I go, oh, that's that. And then
It's called reverb.
Yes.
I feel like this is like a battle that you guys have like had.
It's guitar players.
many a
Guitar
year.
players. We just like, I want an amplifier I can turn up and turn down and have like a bass, mid, treble. That's all I want. And you don't even need presence.
I don't even know what that's for.
Right.
Every time I see that, I turn it all the way down.
Right, I just
Because we have Telecasters because we don't need presence because they're like very present.
Turn all the treble down too.
Yes.
So I'm playing with George
yeah.
in 1998
Okay.
with the Boot Hiller Band.
I hate these stories.
But it's not called the Boot Hiller Band anymore. It's called the Haywire Band.
Haywire Man, yes.
And I'm on stage and I'm playing, and George's amp is so fucking loud. Oh, sorry, it's George's.
So darn.
Let me start again.
So darn loud.
George's amp is so loud. I looked at George on stage and I said, "Dude, turn your amp down." Everybody in the band goes. Like, you just told George to turn his amp down.
That happened a lot here.
Hey, you're in so much trouble. You're going to go into timeout, Bryan Kuban. And I look at George, and George looks at me like, and just keeps playing.
Well, playing here.
I've seen that look.
Playing with Donnie. Okay, so Dwayne and all the guys come in. Here they played a gig. You guys all played a gig out here somewhere. And I was playing with Donnie, and so Dwayne asked Donnie, "How did you get George to turn down?" Dwayne asked Donnie that. How did you get George to turn down? And he's like, "Because I threatened him with bodily violence." I don't know. I don't know what he said to him.
I don't know.
We had a heart to heart.
It sounded good, I'm just saying. I just play like a thing,
It is tough.
I forgot
You
George.
want to hear yourself.
I forgot Dwayne said that. How'd you get George to turn down? I don't know. I
just answered down.
Right, I only played with him for like 30 years. How'd you get to do it in like a month?
Oh my gosh.
Man. Yeah.
But no, I when I said that to George looked at me and goes,
Just looked at you and went back to his old jolly way.
and
there.
honestly, I don't even know if he turned down.
Yeah, but also I had shot glasses all across the back of the amp.
No, I think that night we had a connection. We did.
I think so. Yeah, I do too.
And he was like, "This guy, he's kind of crazy."
We grew a little bit.
That bass player, he's kind of nuts.
Because
Yeah,
he's bald.
I think so.
He's got no hair.
Back then, I had hair.
He had hair.
No, I didn't know. No, that was pre. That was
He had like, what's his name? Studio. What was that guy? He had
Like
that guy.
Phil Collins.
Phil Collins hair. He had Phil Collins hair. He had that little view like right on the front. He had that. And that was
Just say the word. Studio.
in the air tonight.
It could be true.
I saw a picture of him recently. He had hair like down to here.
No, Brian had beautiful hair at one point.
I had golden locks.
Yes. I think you should just grow the Captain Picard out one of these days. I just want to see what it looks like.
Well, with that new Picard show coming
Yeah.
on CBS, I'm definitely
I think you
thinking
should
about
rock
going
it.
all
I like it.
Jean-Luc.
I think you could do it, dude.
Yes, you could.
I think you should rock it. Do the job. My brother does that. I always give him. Do you know who Dave Attell is, the comedian?
Totally.
Yeah, my brother, like every time he still does it now. Like at one point he was bicking his head, kind of like you did, or do
horseshoe head.
currently. Yeah, but Blake's totally rocking that. And every time I saw him, I'd always go meh, 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 like the theme song music from his show. My brother would just get so pissed off at me, but it's what he looked like.
I mean, you are Kit Holoff.
I am kidding. Right.
Yes.
I mean, it sucks. Yeah. It sucks to be your brother.
Just ask him.
Well, his brother made the Wayne Crane.
My brother did, yeah.
Yeah.
The Wayne Crane?
Please
tell.
My brother Wayne Kuban he is a genius.
Yes.
And when we were children, we used to be in our bedroom, and he would make. First of all, you have to understand the insanity that would pursue. He would take a little tack nails and he would put them up in the ceiling, and he would bend them, and then he would put yarn, and there was yarn strewn upon the ceiling everywhere, like a spider's web.
Yeah.
Everywhere. And then on the top of the bunk bed, we had bunk beds. He would have handles, which I actually referred to as levers. And I would come into
Not
the room.
levers, but levers.
Levers.
He went all British on it.
Oh, yes. And I would come into the room, and my brother would go, okay, see that item down there? And it was like one of my G.I. Joes or something, and he would go, or my big Jims. And he'd go, where do you want me to move that to? And I'm like, I don't know. How about over here? And he's like, and he would get these cranes.
Dun 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 dun
and also this crane like, and he would like move that shit all the way across the room, and I was like, oh my God, you're a God.
The Wayne crane.
It was called the Wayne crane.
That's fantastic. And how happy were your parents about the tax and the
They
ceiling?
didn't even care. Listen, you have to understand, my brother's the kid that had the 51 and 1 electrical kit that like you could do 51. Whatever, I don't even know what they call that shit, but
I have one.
Oh,
Yeah.
It was an experimental kit where you could do all these experiments, and there's like 50 experiments you could do on this one board.
And one.
And one.
And one.
And one.
Yes.
My brother designed an electrical kit that if I grabbed the handle of the doorknob, it would electrocute me just enough
So that you wouldn't die.
I wouldn't die, but it would make me so frozen I couldn't grab it. I could not grab the door handle.
I couldn't unlatch.
I couldn't unlatch. And I'd be like, and he'd be like, are you done? He'd be doing a John Rickard. Are you done?
Your brother talks like a sexy like phone sex operator. I like that.
And then he didn't do it, and I'd be like, my hand would be still like, and he called this the Wayne crane.
The fact that your hand was like that, that's the Wayne crane.
I'm just kidding, dude. But it's funny because he literally was that smart. And he would have like a little sign. He had this one thing. This is the best thing.
Shit out of you.
Okay, I gotta go on. I got 2 more stories. Okay. The one we would have the potato canyon or cannon. Potato, not canyon. Cannon.
Potato Canyon. I remember those days. Man, back in Potato Canyon.
She was so sweet. But no, potato cannon. And it would be like 4 tubes of tennis ball containers taped together with isopropyl alcohol.
Yep.
And potatoes. And we would shoot them in the air hundreds of yards.
Yeah.
Because he was smart enough to understand how to put together a chamber underneath the cannon to make it shoot farther.
So potato gun is what he had.
Yeah. But it wasn't like your normal one you would see like on YouTube. It was like the super version.
And it was made out of tennis ball
cans, yes. And he would put a potato in there, and we could shoot from our backyard over our house all the way across the street into the it was called a circle sack. They called them cul-de-sacs.
Cul-de-sac, yeah.
Into the cul-de-sac, potatoes. This is like, well, guys, we're talking 200-300 yards here. These things were like lethal.
No, dude, like the cops will mess you up if they catch you with one of those.
I was holding it. It was like this.
Dunk.
Yes. It shut up. It was like, oh God. And my brother didn't even care if he killed anybody. It was like, did you kill someone? And all the kids would be like screaming. Ah! Because they're playing flag football out in the cul-de-sac.
And
a potato would land.
Fucking potato from hell.
Because no one died. It was cool.
Yeah.
And look, it's a potato.
And like all those kids were my friends though.
Manna from heaven.
So my friends, we would all hang out when I wasn't with my brother, and they're like, your brother's like that guy.
That guy.
He's like the dude that like builds the evil shit that kills people.
He's gonna have a ray gun or something.
So the second story, he builds this bomb. Okay.
Oh, nice. What? Him?
Sorry, my bro, but like we're like hanging out. I'm like out in the front popping caps with a
hammer. brick.
It sounded so gangster right there. I was popping caps.
If people on the internet don't know what that is, back in 1970s, it's like you take a wrench, and these little caps are like little.
And they come in little red
Caps.
pieces of paper.
Yeah, I know.
They're gunpowder,
In a roll.
Yeah.
and you like go boom, boom, and they go pop,
Or you hit the whole roll with a brick.
and it's go boom.
Yeah.
So my brother,
I like how yours is always like more hillbilly. That's what I appreciate.
Hi, man.
Well, if you pull it out just a little bit and then light an edge on fire, it'll burn all the way up to the roll and then explode.
so my brother's like, oh, that sucks, and he's like, I want to build a bomb. So he builds this thing, and back in those days we had garbage. The garbage dispensers were in the ground. You kicked this little lip, and it lifted the lid up, and you put the garbage can in the ground. Mm-hmm. And then you let go of the lip, and the lid goes down.
Yeah.
My brother's like, stand on that.
Okay.
And I'm like 10 years old, and I'm like, okay.
Okay.
And I stand on it, and he builds this bomb, and he puts it in there, and he blows it up, and this is no exaggeration. I flew across the yard. It had to be, and I would say,
Nobody died, so it was cool.
to be conservative, I would say I flew 20 feet in the air.
So is your brother, is he bald too?
Yes.
Okay.
Kind of baldish.
Does he have a cat? Does he pet it like this?
Right. Is his name Dr. Claw by any chance?
Is he a supervillain?
He could be. And I'm telling you, this is when we were kids, and he was a mad scientist. And it was so funny because all I can think about now is like, how did that lid not turn into shrapnel
Right.
and go up into my body? And
I'm
kill
sure
me?
he thought about it somehow.
Oh, he didn't. No, he thought about how high I could fly.
How old were you? What, like 10?
10.
Okay, so I mean, when I was a kid, my cousins,
Like Alan.
and Bill and Glenn came up.
Cousin Alan, Bill, and Glenn.
Came to visit us in Montana. We lived in Great Falls, Montana, right? And so we lived up there, and they came to visit us, and so the four of us all got together, and of course, bad things are going to happen. And so my mom, we told my mom, we go, hey, we want to go to the old haunted house, and she goes, which one? And we were like, and it was like the house they're going to tear down, and she goes, you can go to the one down on 3rd Avenue. But you can't go to the other one. We're like, there's another one? And so of course we had to go to the other one. And it was an old building. It was like a tenement house in more of a downtown Great Falls. And it was like 4 stories. And we're like, we got to go there.
That's the one.
Yeah. So we go there, and so you can't get into everything's locked up. You have to climb into this basement window that's busted out. So we leave all our bikes out there, and we climb into this basement window. And we climb all the way to the top, and we're looking, and we're on the roof, and we're like, wow, we're dropping pieces of glass right, in this old parking lot. And this lady comes across the parking lot from her house that lived across the alley there. And she goes, you get out of that house. You get out of that building right now. That's dangerous. And we're like, okay. Because we're not supposed to be there. And so we go.
The old abandoned house, you're not supposed to be there?
No, because our parents told us not to go there. So we're climbing down all the stairs and hauling ass and trying to get down, and we have to climb out. And by the time we climb out through the window of the basement that we climbed in, she's taking the last one of our bicycles into her yard.
Biatch.
And she says, you're not getting these bikes back until I talk to your parents. I'm like, oh, no. We can't let them talk to our parents because we're not supposed to be here.
Well, they explicitly said we couldn't.
Explicitly said not to go to this building, right? And so we're like, oh no, what do we do? And so we're sitting there, and so my buddy goes, or my cousin Bill, he's the older.
Buddy.
Well, he's older, and he says, I'm stealing my bike back. I don't care about you guys, because they were sitting in our yard.
I don't care about you guys.
And so we all run in, and we all grab our bikes, and we're going to haul ass out of there. And the one guy doesn't get his bike, Glenn, doesn't get the bike. He chickens out at the last thing because she's running out. She goes running out, you little bastards, and she's yelling at us. And so he drops his bike and runs in a panic. And so we're like, no. And so now we're sitting back in the alley again, going like, what do? We got to get that. And then she comes out there and she takes that last bike and she puts a chain around it and locks it to her, the thingy that you hang your clothes on, you know?
Yeah.
And she locks it to that. And we're like, great, Glenn, come on.
Don't those come out of the ground?
So we're sitting there wondering what to do. And here comes this guy. His name is Mike. He comes down in a 10-speed. He comes.
It's always a mic.
Yeah. Okay, so I was friends with his little brother, Pat, who was in, my 4th grade class. And so Mike was in high school. And Mike was long hair, everything like Mike was his older brother. Comes riding down. He goes, what are you punks doing?
He's right out of Stranger Things.
Right, dude?
He says, we go... The lady took our bikes and all kind of said, he goes, I'll take care of it. And he goes up to the lady's house and he starts calling her all these horrible names. And he spit on her.
Jeez.
And then she goes, I'm calling the cops. And he comes running out and he goes, hey man, you guys better haul ass. Cops are coming. We're like, what? we all took off in different directions. Right. And so... but Billy and Glenn got on the same bike because they were brothers, and so Glenn screwed up and he didn't get his bike, and so Alan went another way, and I went another way, and I rode through an alley and then down a street and another alley and another street and another, and I was like 1,000 miles away. I was sitting behind these cans and I was hiding, and I was like, shit, what am I gonna do? And then like 5 minutes later, here comes this cop car. He stops. He goes, all right, son, come on out of there. I know. And I thought, how did he find me? And I got out and I stood up, and there's my cousins all in this car, and their bikes in the back in the trunk, and so
it's all open and stuff, like hitting on the bikes.
Pre-GPS.
He takes us down to jail.
Whoa!
And so we get there, we're in this like little waiting room, and there's that guy Mike. And he's like crying. He's crying his eyes out. And
he thought he was a badass there.
We're like, this is the guy that caused all the problems for us. And so we're sitting there. So this all started because we're not supposed to be there. And so we send in there, and the cop goes, do you know that we could put you in jail for the rest of your natural lives for what you have done today?
Was this my cousin Vinny? Like, I feel like this is my cousin.
My parents, they called the parents first, and they said to scare them. And they took us to the jail, and they go, did you see a picture of Bonnie's dress after they got done putting 1,000 holes in that car? And she was dead, and so was Clyde. And you all going to go down the same road. And they all sound just like that. In Montana, northern, that's north. They should sound like, oh, how you doing, eh? But no, they sound like southern people. We're going to put you in jail. And so, and then I got the spanking when I got home. Where your mom or dad, and you hold your arm and you go, didn't I tell you not to do? And you're like, yes, you did. And then I can hear my cousins getting the same spanking. Didn't I tell you? That's I don't know why I told that story.
That's the life right there.
That's awesome.
It's a true story.
I know that spanking.
Didn't I tell you? And you're like, yes, you did, but I forgot.
But I forgot. Totally.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man.
Kit doesn't know that spanking.
No.
Kit's never been spanked in his life. He's liberal.
I have been spanked.
He's liberal.
Whatever. I have a hard time believing you or have ever been spanked in your life.
No, I have been spanked like once. And my dad was like, this sucks. I'm never doing this again. I'm like,
Was he brutal?
God. I don't think so.
What'd you do?
I think it was worse for him than it was for. I have no fucking. I think I was probably like 1, maybe 2.
He probably wanted to pound it.
He's gonna be mad at me here because I say this stuff, and he's always coming back and he's like, "Why'd you say that? It wasn't this. It was this." And I'm like, "I was like really young, so I'm just gonna throw a random number out there. I'm sorry."
I've gotten that like 5 times now.
Have you? Yes.
I never even raised my voice at my kids. Isn't that weird? And that's why they're such idiots.
Idiots in college.
I got 4 great kids that are not like a problem. I never had any problems with drugs. And
Those like great grandchildren, great kids.
Nothing. No grandkids yet. And
I got grandkids.
I know, but I'm just saying I'm lucky. But so far they haven't done anything crazy.
I see you're wearing the hat.
Oh yeah, I got Which one is this?
U of A. That's your U of A hat.
U of A?
Yeah,
Are you really wearing
I
that?
got a couple other ones.
Are your kids there?
Huh? I got one daughter there.
Hey, I got to point one thing out because I just looked at Brian's hat again, and there was all this talk about not saying fucking stuff like that, and Brian's hat says Buddha fucking pest on it. Like he was walking on water this whole damn time.
I'm a
Ryan.
Well, you were just there, weren't you?
Nope.
That was a few years ago.
2 years ago.
Budapest.
No, Buddha fucking pest.
It's Budapest, like he said.
Budapest.
Yeah. One city is called Buda. Across the river is Pesh.
Is that real? You just make that up?
It's like the Twin Cities, like
true.
Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Yep.
Yeah. What's
The
the...
castle's
I
on the
concur.
Buddha side, where the castle where all the highfalutin people are.
Yeah.
And Pesh is where all the parties are. Yeah, get down.
I like, you know what? I want to party with Brian if that's how it's going.
I was more of a Pesher.
Not Depeche mode.
The funniest thing is seeing Brian in a full-on suit with a tie and is like he's all just duded up at the Kentucky Derby, and we're all, and by the time we get done, we're walking back to get in our little find a bus.
4 miles
Yes.
of walking in suits.
But through
That sounds terrible.
through the ghetto.
Yeah.
Okay?
Oh, no.
Oh.
And so these young,
got stuck up.
These two young men were probably, I would say,
Young
what would you say, 10, 11 years old. And they were like, you want Bud or Bud Light? And we're like, we'll take Bud Light. And these boys were selling beers, and we're like buying them
in Kentucky.
in Kentucky. And you want Bud or Bud Light? And we're
They
like, we'll
are
take Bud
true
Light.
entrepreneurs.
Just
And we're like-
assumed.
And we gave them a
Didn't even say hi or anything. Just assumed
They
that
had
you
a
wanted
little-
one or
a
the
little
other.
stand out, set up right there, and we're walking. What the hell is this? And they're like, "You want Bud or Bud Light?" And we're like, "These guys." And we gave them a $20 tip.
As you should.
And we
like
drank
saved
a
us.
lot of beers.
11
Yes, we
years
did.
old.
And they were not all black little children.
Jesus,
They
okay.
were white ones, and they were.
But we went to the
Because that's what we were all wondering.
But we went to the what do you call it? That place that has hamburgers.
White Castle,
White Castle. and what's his name?
Cuba.
Gooding
Gooding
Jr.
Jr.
And what's his name?
Kid Rock.
Kid Rock.
I've
Yes.
heard this story.
Yes, came in there.
They're hanging out with
And they
us.
bought us all hamburgers.
Bought the whole place hamburgers.
Freaking random.
Cuba Gooding Jr. and Kid Rock hanging out.
They hang out.
Show me the burger.
I like Kid Rock. He's
Show me
badass.
The rock and roll.
That's fantastic. Cuba Gooding Jr.
You guys.
Who's Cuba Gooding Jr. anymore?
Well, he's not Cuban Gooding Jr., but
That's
he's Cuban.
you.
He's
You're
not anything
Cuban.
like you. No. But he's in
But
big
he
trouble.
was really
right?
good in that one movie where he was like, yeah, that kid.
Show me the money.
No, where he was Show Me the Money.
Yeah.
And then he was also
It was
like
Jerry Maguire.
he had the underwater suit on.
Oh yeah, when he was on the DC diver,
Yeah, he's underneath there, and he's like, and then
with the one guy, with the other actor, he was like, I want you to go down, step there, and go down in the water, and you just do what they tell you.
and then he was also the guy that was like mentally challenged, and he was like,
Radio.
I'm radio.
I like how you're about to say it. You're like that dude.
You didn't say that, yeah. At least you didn't say that word.
Say what word?
Radio.
The R word.
George.
Yard.
George, I'm not like that.
Yes, you are.
He was just a radio.
The radio. Well, gentlemen, we are going on almost an hour and 40 here.
It's pretty awesome, isn't it?
It is pretty awesome. But I think I need
Donnie's
to go home
all
and go
tired.
to bed. Donnie's really tired. Look at
No,
him.
I'm just enjoying. No, my eye. Okay, so I had an eye appointment because I have to get glasses because I'm old now.
Me too.
So they dilated my eyes before I got to work tonight. So all I see is like
Scary figures.
The Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost.
As Talking Heads would say, all I see is little dots.
That's awesome.
You guys don't know
And she
that
was
because that's like
walking very
1978.
I'm not that young.
I wasn't born yet.
He likes to say that a lot.
Some are pretty, some are small.
And these podcast things, you said like little musical interludes.
Some of them do that. We've never done that before.
Where you guys, you get a little Ciccone thing or just beat on the table?
Cajon.
Well, George and I were just talking about forming a cajon band.
Yeah, and you play the cajon.
You guys can do the cajon without me.
Well,
No, you have to do it.
Yeah,
I don't want to.
We're gonna do it.
Or are you gonna beat me or something?
We're gonna do it. It's gonna be a 4-piece cajon
You've heard
band.
about my family.
I've heard about your family.
Okay.
Well, what do I get to play?
He gets to play the baritone cajon.
Yeah, baritone cajon. And then me and Donnie play
And it's like
I'll play the ukulele and he plays the bigger guitar.
Right.
And every third note, I get to go boom, boom.
Dude, that's like a really slow song if that's every third note.
We'll put a string on yours so you can, get that worst tub.
But then during the podcast, we'll have a little song.
It's just got to be the
Tim.
most obscene thing ever.
Oh, yeah, I'm just saying,
Okay, let's do this.
I have no more fucks given. Have you heard that song before?
Don't you
Nope.
want me, baby?
I think that one's already written.
Johnny, what did you say?
Yeah, I dropped the F-bomb.
Yeah, I did. I just said the bad word.
And that's Brian's done.
He's turning at his phone.
Right, with his Buddha fucking pest hat on.
It's all off.
That's right. I'm actually politically proper right here, right?
Oh,
I have not
that's
said the F word at all tonight.
You
That's
have
on
actually.
record. I have not.
yeah, I've heard it like 3 times now.
No, I have not.
Well, I guess we got video evidence.
Well, I'll find out because everybody counts them.
Now
and
that I
tells
said
me.
that, he's going to go back there and go, fucking. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
There's so many good sequences that have the F word, though. It sucks.
You say it sucks. I think it's fantastic.
That's my go-to word.
I love
But
that
Johnny's
word.
gonna make a call on that, right?
Why do I have this image of being a tight ass? I don't understand
Well,
it.
because you say stuff like "Don't say fuck."
Well, don't say fuck.
Don't say fuck because
okay,
my
Donnie.
family watches this. Is what you say.
Johnny's a
Actually,
good man. He really is.
See, somebody gets it
Because he cares about stuff.
because I care.
Yeah.
a lot of the
He
people
cares-
in my life say the F word a lot, and I think they're great people.
Yeah.
He's got the whole world in his hands.
Should have
Wow,
harmonized that right there.
that was almost like not.
I went
harmony.
melody. I didn't do harmony. Sorry.
What happened to you, man?
Back in the old
I don't
days,
even
would've
know
been a
you
third below.
anymore. Haven't been in this band with you in a while.
5 years ago, you would have got that. Bam.
Yep. See what happens to me? I'm getting all sloppy.
I leave for 5 years and you suck now.
Shit.
Oh my god.
All right. Well, again, it's almost a hour 40 into this thing. And
What time is it?
I'm
That means-
really tired. It's 2:20. I need to go to bed. I woke up at 6:30 this morning
It's
with
only
twins.
2:19.
2:19.
19.
Holy
Sorry.
moly.
Supposed to be a
2:19.
creature of the night.
Creature. I was until I had twins that wake up at 5:30 in the
Speaking
morning.
of creature of the night, real quick, Halloween's coming, and shut the hell up. And I found myself a VHS copy of Rocky Horror Picture Show, which is cool.
Let's do the time warp again.
And so I tried showing my kids, and because my kids are old, they can handle that, right? They thought I was a
But they
complete
couldn't.
pervert. They thought I was terrible.
Really?
I got a scolding from my
Why?
kids for watching that movie.
Hey, Tim Curry's
Really?
the fucking
Yes, I
man in
did.
that movie.
I did.
That movie is over the top.
I like it.
I remember going to see that movie. I remember going and seeing it when I was in high school.
What, did you do? Did you do the acting thing that they do at the theater?
That was
No.
probably before.
But the cool thing that happened, me and my buddies all went from the football team. We all went down, and we were going to all go see. We went to Tempe to see the Rocky Horror Picture Show because back in the 1980, that was the thing, right? So we go down there, and so we go to Denny's to eat. And walking into Denny's, I find this cane for a blind guy in the parking lot, and they go, "You know what we can do with this?" And so we go in there, we eat dinner. And one by one, my friends got up and left until I'm all alone. And I go, "Bo, where my friends. And I start knocking shit over. I start knocking everybody's drinks over. And the manager comes over and goes, like, can we help you? And I go, I can't find my friends. And I don't know where they are. And they're like, oh, I go, just get me to the front door. My ride's coming. And I have this thing. And they're all freaking, and my buddies all drive up in the car. And I jump in the car and I go, bye. And at least we didn't get thrown in jail for that.
That's George Brunson right there.
But that's when you can get away with fun stuff.
You know what we can do with this?
Oh my God. It's the most ridiculous story.
It's horrible.
So true.
All right,
It's wrong.
Close us out.
All right. Well, this is the After Hours with the Donny Grubb Band, episode 13. I accidentally said 12 earlier.
Kit wore blackface.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. What now? But anyways.
Kid, I just have to ask, are you wearing mascara?
Maybe.
A little bit.
Just saying.
My crying.
In his lifetime, he wore blackface in high school.
Maybe. All right. I don't even see that right now. But anyways, yeah, Donny Grubb Band After Hours. Donny Grubb right here. He's the one to blame for all of this. And then I'm Kit.
I'm just a tight ass.
My buddy George over here. My buddy Bryan Kuban over here. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this weekend.
Hey, they're my buddies too.
Well, they're also Donnie's. You can give me a high five also.
No, I don't like
All right, I'm just going to keep it
go.
floating up there. All right. Yeah, please hang out with us. Check us out on the Facebook machine. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out on the podcast apps that are out there. You guys have anything to add before we get out of here?
Do what he say.
He'll beat us. Have a good week, guys.
Why you got to hit me, mama?